My name is Ben Andrews. I study Russian politics MA. I play for Red Star Football Club, where for this academic year I've been the president. This year one of our big pushes has been, I guess, socials that don't pertain specifically to alcohol. We found that's quite exclusive in a lot of ways because a lot of people don't drink, a lot of people are quite socially anxious and don't really want to, cram into a bar full of, sort of 100 people to feel welcome without having to get drunk first, if that makes sense. That's something that that came from the previous president and actually came from during Corona when one of our players unfortunately took his own life. It's sort of a 20-year-old, a boy almost, someone who's so energetic and lively and kind of an active member of the club, suddenly isn't there anymore. You can't get away with not talking about it. You can't not do anything. We've really tried to establish ourselves not just as like football players, but also as human beings, because that's what ultimately we all are, and we're all susceptible to our thoughts and our feelings, and sometimes those aren't particularly pleasant. I guess our main ethos this year is sort of breaking down that kind of culture barrier, because it's so easy to slip into the toxic masculinity aspect. This year we've worked a lot with the mental health charity Ollie's Future. What we've done with them was they ran for us their online seminars, which are 10 tools for talking about suicide. The other thing that Ollie's Future did with us, which is something they run every year at UCL, is the mental health open mic night. It was amazing in a lot of ways, very emotive, not just in the traditional sense that hearing people talk about harrowing experiences from their own life. It was also relieving to hear so many people who I'd never met at all speaking so honestly and frankly to just a room full of strangers about such difficult to discuss topics. You're not alone in that position, that it's not just you fighting it, that it's a trodden path that other people have been on, that people have gone through and come out the other side of and survived. And it's quite inspiring in a lot of ways. I think you'd be really happy to see the steps we've taken to change the ethos in the club and to, I guess, to make progress in terms of our own mental health and to remove that stigma, to become less of like a lads kind of football team, but also more of an environment wherein people were allowed to be vulnerable and allowed to talk about their problems and their feelings when things aren't going so well. Whether that's how much you hate your professors, or how much you can't stand Chelsea, or just maybe sometimes you thought about taking your own life. And I think it's important to have an environment wherein you can talk about that without feeling any kind of anxiety or stigma for having those kind of thoughts, because for most of us at Red Star, we can say with all honesty that we either know someone who has or have ourselves had those kind of thoughts. And I think that's it's important to address that rather than pretend it's not there. Aside from the fact that I'm just, I think my chances of playing for England are probably past it at 22. I've also learned, I think, how I best communicate with other people, particularly with people I've never met. And I think that, especially this year as president, you do almost have to talk to a lot of people you've never met before. And for me personally, that was something I'd long struggled with, is how to get to know people and how to start conversations with people. And I think because of that, I've also learned how to accept myself. The future is, it's quite scary in general. I think the past 2 years have really shown how subject to change everything is. As far as Red Star is concerned, I know for a fact the club's in good hands. The club's only going to expand and be even more successful.